Mentor, coach, connector, teacher. There's a lot of different names and words that people use when describing someone who you meet with on a one-to-one basis to help you become a better activist and a better organizer. And I think there are some nuances that explain the difference between a coach or a mentor or a teacher. But in this video, I don't want to get too much into those details. I want to talk to you about how you can be a good coach or mentor, whatever you want to call it, to other activists. Because if you have been organizing or involved for some time in the animal rights movement, I think one of the best things that you can do is share your skills, your knowledge, your experiences with others. That's how this movement's going to grow. So in this video, I want to go over how you can be a good coach. First, why is coaching important? Coaching is one of the most effective things you can do in developing other organizers and leaders. It isn't a scientific study, but when I talk to other people in our community, other activists, and ask them, how did you get to where you are? How did you develop your skills? The number one answer I get is I had a really good coach or a really good connector, a good mentor. So there's lots of things you can do. You can do trainings, you can watch videos like these, but the number one thing I think that is effective is having one-on-one support. And that's why coaching is really important. Coaching helps you, or when you're a coach, you help people set goals and overcome obstacles. So coaching gives you the opportunity to have a personalized one-on-one conversation with someone and really dive deep into the details of the work that maybe you couldn't get in a meeting or a group setting. So together, you're going to be identifying goals and then listing out what are the obstacles that's preventing people from meeting those goals. And then how can you overcome those? Is it needing more people to help you out, developing skills, gaining knowledge, having more access to resources? Whatever it is, having that one-on-one time is really important for helping someone set goals and overcome the obstacles they have to meeting them. The second thing that makes coaching really important is helping someone develop a long-term vision. So as a coach, you're someone who can help an activist develop more clarity in the bigger picture of their activism career. And that can help support and motivate someone to stay involved over the long run. Burnout and recidivism is so rampant in social justice movements and animal rights, and having that really solid vision of where someone wants to be in the future is going to help them stick around and stay involved. And lastly, emotional support. It's not just goals and problem solving and 5-year plans. Being someone's coach means you get to provide them with that emotional support that we so often need in the movement. We know that it's hard work, always fighting for animals, getting a lot of pushback, facing repression, and having someone there to support you, being that support for someone else, is critical. It's going to help avoid burnout, it's going to reduce conflict in the movement, and it's going to create those personal relationships that once again motivate people and enable them to stay involved. So that's why coaching is important. So how do you actually help someone do all those things? How do you help someone set their goals, overcome obstacles, provide emotional support? What are the skills needed? It's not easy, and a lot of these skills are going to develop over time. So, sometimes you need to just kind of jump in and start doing it. But here's a couple tips and skills that I think are really important. The first, be present. Coaching is not a passive role. Don't come to your coaching session or your one-on-one with someone when you're tired, distracted, or unprepared. You need to be listening, you need to pay attention, you need to be actively engaged in the conversation. If you have the luxury of this, schedule your one-on-ones at the best time of day for you. Some people feel really great in the mornings, other people struggle to really be focused until later in the afternoon. So if you can, find the time where you can be most present for the person you're coaching, because that is so important. Second, do your homework. The best coaches have at least some experience in the area that the person they're coaching is working in. And you should choose to connect with people that are looking for the same experiences and really be critically honest with yourself to ask yourself what your strengths and weaknesses are and if you can be a good coach for this person. If you're not ready to become a coach yet, identify like what your weaknesses are. Maybe you don't have enough connections to people in the movement, so you can't help people build relationships. Or maybe you just haven't ever organized a protest before and you want to mentor other people to organize protests. Then you need to start doing those things. So make sure that you yourself have a solid foundation of knowledge, experiences, skills, etc. that you can transmit. And if you don't have that yet, start doing your homework and getting prepared. Read, watch videos, attend trainings, get all the information you can, because then you are going to be an amazing library of resources for other people. So we have be present, do your homework. The third thing is become a problem solver. In the very practical sense, that's what you're doing. You're helping the person you're coaching solve problems. So you need to be pretty analytical in thinking about helping someone identify barriers and roadblocks. Do they know their goals? If yes, do they know how to achieve their goals? If yes, do they know how to use their time effectively? What is the limiting factor in preventing them from reaching those goals? Dive in and learn how to problem solve on a big scale. The fourth thing is that you need to be comfortable asking for and giving feedback. You shouldn't bottle in all of your feedback for the person you're coaching and like dump it on them every week or every 2 weeks when you meet with them. It should be an ongoing thing, but you need to be comfortable giving people feedback. Otherwise, you are not going to be a good coach. And similarly, you need to really encourage the person you're coaching to give you feedback, and you need to be great at accepting it. When someone gives you feedback on your coaching skills or anything else, you need to be able to acknowledge that person for stepping out of their comfort zone to give you that feedback, and really praise them for doing that, because we don't live in a world where feedback is often very valued. So it's really, really important that you can give and receive feedback if you want to be a good coach. And then the last thing is show the person that you care. Emotional labor is part of this job. Get to know that person. What is their life story? What motivates them? What are they afraid of? Like, where do they want to be in 5 years? How did they become an activist? This kind of goes with being present, but it goes beyond that too, in that you're showing that person that you care about them very much as an individual and not just about what they're producing for the movement. So those are some of the really key skills for being a good coach. So now you know why coaching is important. You know what skills are really important and how you can develop them. Now what? The first thing you want to do when you have someone that you think you might be a good coach for is obviously make sure they feel good about you being their coach as well. You want to be on the same page. Then have a conversation with them about the frequency and the expectations around your coaching sessions. Are they going to just be one-off, like when that person needs some advice and it can kind of be spontaneous? Is it going to be regular, same time every week? And then determine if there's going to be an agenda. Some coaching sessions that I have are pretty formal. The person that I'm coaching comes with a set agenda and we go through all the things that they want to talk about. I think that's probably the best practice because it forces the other person to really think about what are the questions I would like answered. Other times you can be a little bit more informal, but the most important thing is that you have expectations and an understanding of what's going to happen and you stick to that. And then in the first session, I think it's really important to start just talking about goals. Maybe that person already has them written down, and if not, start working on them. And then in subsequent sessions, you'll go back to the goals that person has written down and kind of chip away at meeting them. So that's how you would start structuring coaching sessions with other activists. So if you've been a coach for a while, here's a couple red flags that you want to look for that maybe indicate that your coaching skills need a little bit of a touch-up. The first is lots of cancellations. If someone's canceling on you once, like that's fine, they're sick or something. But if someone's canceling on you a lot, that's probably because they're not finding that coaching session valuable. Maybe you're just not the right coach, or maybe you can improve some of your skills, and it's great to ask that person what you could do to make those sessions a better use of their time. Another red flag is if you never hear any criticism or feedback or bad news. If that person's coming to you every day and just saying, everything's great and I have no feedback for you, they're probably lying. And that means that you need to maybe show that you're more open to feedback and you're not gonna get defensive or reactive, or maybe have an honest conversation with them about what they're struggling with. And then another red flag is just there's nothing of substance that that person's bringing to you. The agenda's empty, or they're just updates that could have been sent in an email. And if that's the case, like if you have experienced some of these red flags, it's fine. That just means that maybe you're not the right coach for that person. Maybe that person's not in the right headspace to have a coach, or maybe you just need to work on some of your coaching skills. And I think that's a really important thing to acknowledge too when we need to develop our skills as a coach. And sometimes you can have a coach that helps you become a better coach. And that's the way that we're really going to grow and empower a lot of activists in this movement, by sharing our skills, sharing our knowledge with others. It doesn't help if it's all kept in your head. We need emergent leadership. We need new people taking on leadership roles all the time in order for this movement to grow. And developing and supporting other activists is one of the most rewarding things that I personally have ever done in my activism career as well. If you're looking for resources, there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet, and if I had to pick one, I would recommend listening or reading to Radical Candor by Kim Scott. It is not an activist book. It is related to the business world, so a lot of the things in there probably aren't going to apply, but there's a ton of really great tips about being a good boss, and I think that that helps a lot with coaching. So I hope you found this video useful, and I hope you go out there and share your skills and your knowledge with other activists.